Fáilte. Welcome to a week in the life of a Gaelic writer. Is é seo seachcain a bháid náisiúnta ach charómí ananlach haber. This has been the week of the National Maud, but I have not been to this year's Maud. I have been following the fortunes of the competitors on the radio and on social media, agus miala verneach sríse a ha eth buin agus duation a gléig. Rather than go gallivanting off up to Fort William, I have been working away busily here in Edinburgh, and I've been trying out a new piece of software, or at least it's new to me, called Scrivener. So in this video I'm going to talk about writing software, about why I have been disappointed by Final Draft, why my initial impressions of Scrivener are very favourable, and what you should do about spell checking in a language that isn't automatically supported by software that you're using to write your great works of literature. First of all, gyda gaif mo leisgal, gyda chwrmi anard na video in Gaelic. I had promised to put up some Gaelic only videos this week. I haven't done that yet. The videos have been made. I just need, for various reasons, I haven't put them up. I will do so soon, and please forgive me for the delay. So, software. Scrivener is the new piece of software that I have been trying out. You can get a 30-day trial for Scrivener, and that's 30 actual days. So if you use it every day for a month, it will last you a month. If you only use it once a week, it will last you 30 weeks. But having had it for a little over a week now, I am so impressed that I am just definitely going to buy it. One of the reasons that I am pleased with it is that it has a screenwriting template that is every bit as good as Final Draft. And I have been disappointed by Final Draft in the past. It's a bit of a detour, but here's a brief history of my dealings with Final Draft. I bought Final Draft initially, I think in 2010 or 11, and it would have been Final Draft 7, I think, at that stage. I may be wrong. It was expensive. I got a heavily discounted bargain price Final Draft for, I think, about $70, 70 US dollars. It stood me in good stead. It was a bit buggy, but generally it worked. And then a couple of years ago I got a new computer, and I tried to transfer my Final Draft software over along with all my files, and it wouldn't copy. So I thought, well, maybe I should just invest in the latest version to go with my shiny new computer. So I forked out the price, which had by then risen to $150 for Final Draft 9. And it wouldn't work. It wouldn't register. You know how you get a 12-digit alphanumeric key to unlock new software? Well, the one they'd given me didn't work, so I contacted Final Draft. They said, oh, not our problem, you bought that through the Apple App Store, it's their problem. So I spoke to Apple and they said, oh, not our problem, you have to deal with Final Draft. So I was going back and forth between the two, thinking, why should I, the customer, the end user, be caught in the middle of this, $150 down on the deal? Well, eventually Final Draft gave me a new activation code, which worked for a while, and then it stopped working. And so I went back to them and I went round the whole loop again of, oh, it's not our problem, it's not our problem, until eventually Apple gave me my money back. They gave me back the a full refund, which was good, but it left me without any usable software. And as frustrating as this was, and I should explain, all the files were now read-only. I couldn't do anything with them, all the commands were greyed out. And the only thing that they could suggest was, well, you could buy it again. You got your money back, why not just buy it again? Am I really likely to buy it again when it didn't work the first time? So because I wasn't really doing any screenwriting at that time, I just left it. I just thought, well, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. And I knew that I had an older version that still worked on the old laptop. So that was where I left it. And now, of course, with Scrivener, I can write a screenplay in a perfectly acceptable format. Last night, because I knew I was going to talk about this today, I went to look at Final Draft's website. The software now costs, Final Draft 10 now costs $250. Who are they kidding? Why would anyone invest that sort of money? Well, I'll tell you why. Final Draft, for all its faults, is still regarded as the industry standard. And if you need to share a file, a working document, let's say with a co-writer, you will need to share it not as a PDF document, which you could create from other screenwriting programs, but as an FDX file. And in those circumstances, yes, you would need Final Draft, and you'd just have to bite the bullet and buy their terrible software. But until the phone call comes from Hollywood, I think I'm just going to stick with Scrivener for the time being. So, Scrivener, big thumbs up on screenwriting. Thumbs, well, if they get themselves sorted out, let's see about Final Draft, but I'm not going to hold my breath. It's so expensive. Oh, I should say, Scrivener is $45, so it's a fraction of the price of Final Draft. So, what else can you do with Scrivener? Well, you can write novels and non-fiction books, and I was perhaps a little bit sceptical about why I might need to do that with Scrivener, since I've always used Microsoft Word. But one of the big advantages that I'm already discovering is that you can break down your document in Scrivener into chapters and scenes within chapters, and you can move things around much more easily, and you can decide how big or how small the subdivisions will be. With Microsoft Word, if you are writing a big document, let's say you're writing a novel and it's 100,000 words long, if you want to move things around, you have to copy and paste and scroll, and things can get lost. And it's just a bit unwieldy beyond a certain size. So I think that for my next novel, I will try to do that in Scrivener, and we'll see how it goes, and I will update you as we go along. Ceist uasach cwtrmach gyda, mae haw sgrifig as y Gaelic, cymr a hawdol y yerafig litrachig na Gaelic agad. Everyone needs a spell checker. Now, of course, a spell checker is a tool, it's not a fail-safe, but to write without one can be quite frustrating, because if every word you type has that red wiggly underlining, it's distracting, it's wearing on the eye. Of course, you could just switch off all spell checking, but that's not really very wise. You'd have to be pretty confident of your spelling ability to do without a spell checker altogether. Now, with Word, I have two spell checkers running at the same time. I have a basic spell checker, which is the British English dictionary that comes with Word, and I have also added a custom dictionary in Gaelic. So any document I write is checking both languages at once, and it will only flag a misspelling if that is a word that does not appear in either of those languages. So of course it's possible to go wrong by putting a word that happens to be correct in the other language in the midst of the language you're trying to write in, and that won't be flagged because as far as the computer is concerned it's correctly spelled. So you just need to keep a very keen eye on what you're spelling, because yes, the spell checker helps, but the ultimate decision rests with you, the writer. Scrivener, of course, as you might expect, does not support a Gaelic dictionary as standard, as it comes off the shelf, but you can add one. Agus ma bheanach Michael Bauer ag Ackerbelts son an Jerver Big a Chruachug. Michael Bauer has created so many resources for computer users in Gaelic, and among them is an Jerver Big, the spell checker. You can download this, it's an open office file, and you can just search for it online, it's free of charge. The one that I downloaded had a file extension that I didn't recognise, a .oxt file extension, but I googled it and discovered that oxt is simply a zip file, and you can rename it as .zip and open it, and in the subfolders you will find two dictionary files that are the ones you want. One has the file extension .aff, and the other has the file extension .dic, and you want to copy both of those files into your system library/spelling folder. That's if you're a Mac user. Don't ask what you do for a PC. Scrivener has a Facebook page, which is where I found the instructions on how to do this. And once you've copied those files, if you restart your computer and open up Scrivener again, you'll find that you now have a Gaelic dictionary as one of your options. What it's not doing though, remember I said that my Microsoft Word is checking both English and Gaelic at the same time. Scrivener at the moment can either check in Gaelic or it can check in English. And if you were writing a bilingual document, that could become a bit frustrating. There may be a way to get both to work at once. If there is, I haven't figured it out yet. But for my next novel, which is going to be entirely in Gaelic, that's not a problem because Scrivener will just search for misspellings in Gaelic, and I'm quite happy with that. So initial reports on Scrivener are very favourable. I think this could be a really useful tool. I don't think it will replace Microsoft Word, which is obviously a very powerful and versatile word processor, but I think it could replace Final Draft. I had been sceptical. Why did I need Scrivener? Now I'm beginning to think maybe I can't live without it. If you have used Scrivener, if you have any tips and tricks and suggestions, if you have any thoughts about Gaelic spell checkers, I'd love to hear what you think. Everything that I mentioned in the video will be linked below. Even Final Draft, if you really fancy spending $250, go for it, I can't stop you. That's really all I have to say this week. It's just been busy. Next week I will be talking about plays. I will be talking about first drafts and first readings of plays. So, gusum feich mir yishu shine vuamse tach belev son eistach agus hi mir